Hey guys, it's Dee. Welcome to the floor of my design studio. So today, we don't necessarily have a vlog. We have a little sit down chit chat with me. Today, we're going to be talking about Invisalign. I posted this picture somewhere up here, somewhere in the video, but I posted this photo of the before and after of my Invisalign journey. And so people said that they would be interested in watching a video. So here I am filming a video. And actually, the timing of this video is actually impeccable because I just got some new aligners and we'll kind of talk about that and all that. So if I'm looking over here, it's because my computer's over here just so that I can kind of stay semi on track of what I'm talking about. So the first things that people want to know is how much does it cost? So generally speaking, Invisalign costs anywhere from $5,000 to $8,000. For me, it costs $5,000. I put, now most places will allow you to finance your Invisalign treatment. My dentist said that it was $5,000. And, you can put down money if you want, but if not, you just have to make sure that you pay the $5,000 off in the course of a year. So for me, I knew that I didn't want my monthly payments to be more than $250, so I paid about $2,000 to $2,500 for a deposit, and then the rest of it was just divided up into 12. There was no interest or anything like that. It was just strictly I think it was like $248 or something, same amount every single month. It was automatic, so I didn't have to worry about sending in a check or money order or going online to a portal and putting something in. It just came out of my account. Okay, next one. How long was the treatment? So, initial round is when you first sign up for Invisalign and you get fitted and do your scans and all of that. That initial round for me was 10 months. So I got them in August of 2019, and then by the time my initial round treatment was done was, I think, maybe June or July of 2020. Now, because of COVID and everything, things were kind of prolonged, but generally speaking, the first round of Invisalign, from going from not doing any Invisalign to the first kind of, all right, we've done all of this, let's kind of check in, was 10 months. Now, you do have what's called a refinement period after that initial round. So for some people, that first round is all the Invisalign that they would do. I feel like the majority of people, though, do still go through a refinement process to kind of help tweak some things around. So at the end of those 10, 11 months for me, my teeth were relatively straight, except my bite was off, way off, and I needed to work on one more tooth. So at that point, they did some scans again and impressions, and I waited until they got the new trays in for me to go back in, do the appointment and all of that. So when I went in for the appointment, this time, since we were tweaking some things, I needed to get attachments. Now, throughout the entire initial round, I didn't get any attachments. What are attachments? Attachments are just, it's just a composite material. So the same material that's used for when you get fillings. It's just like little dots that they put on your teeth, depending on what type of movement you want to do. So like I said, I had a tooth down bottom that still needed to get worked on, and my bite was off. So that's why I got attachments. So the attachment process is not bad. It's just weird and it just tastes nasty. There's no pain or anything like that involved unless, your dentist or orthodontist is poking at your gums. But luckily, my dentist is really great, and so are the dental hygienists and the people that kind of do my Invisalign things. So, I trust them with my life. They're pretty great people. Let's pause right there. We're at refinement. And then go back to the pricing. So when it comes to the pricing, you won't have to pay extra. So once that $5,000 was paid off, and it was paid off in August of 2020, I was still going back to the dentist and getting things done because my Invisalign treatment was already done, and that covers the life of the treatment. So if there's anything that's outside of the aligners and attachments and things like that, then you are going to have to pay extra. For instance, I got, as you can see in the photo, my before, I had some chipped teeth up top. And then in December, I got my chipped teeth fixed. So because that's not a part of Invisalign, I had to pay out of pocket for that. which is fine. I mean, everything for my dental stuff, for the most part, is typically out of pocket because I think dental insurance is a scam. But, you know, besides the point, I don't have to put any extra money towards Invisalign. It's already been paid for, and I'm still kind of going through treatments. Even as I speak right now, I have Invisalign in. Now, it sounds so much better. It feels better. And I do actually have attachments on now, and I'll show them in a sec. But back to the refinement process. So it's really just the time or refinement period, but it's really just a time when if there's any sort of tweaking or things that need to be further worked on, that's the time to do it. All right, so let's go back to attachments. So I'm going to take these out real quick, and I'm not going to do that on camera because that is gross. Okay, so we're going to get in here real close. So I don't know if you can tell, right here is a little button. That's also what they're called. And you see down here, you got some. We are so up close and personal in my grill. This is so weird. But this is what it looks like. Okay, and then I have one right out here. So I did used to have one down here for this one, and it was mainly to lift it up. So as you can see, I have, little buttons on my teeth. And that's just to correct my bite in terms of like my teeth being straight and all of that. My teeth are straight. We still have some filing down to do to just like even things out and make them look all pretty and stuff. But the hard part has been done. And now really all we're concentrating on is correcting my bite. Because if I were to demonstrate on my hands, so this is how your teeth should sit, right? Just like on top of each other, or maybe like slightly over, so that, when you chew, your front teeth aren't like preventing your molars from touching. But my teeth are like this, kind of like that. So my teeth over here don't touch, so I can't chew over there, otherwise I would choke. And over here, they just barely touch. So right now, the buttons are on the teeth that will help kind of bring everything down or together so that, when I eat, I can properly grind up my food and not choke on it. Okay? Level. So watching YouTube videos and research and stuff on Invisalign is, one, it's intriguing, and then two, it's just kind of hilarious to hear about people's different levels of pain. So a lot of people, now mind you, pain is subjective? Subjective? It's individualized, right? So what I find painful may either be super painful to somebody else or not painful at all to another person. So for me, I have kind of a high tolerance for pain. I'm filming, babe. I mean, I can just cut it out. Okay, so watching YouTube videos obviously are really helpful and educational in terms of like what the treatment's like, how much it costs, all the things that I'm talking about, right? I'm not the first person to put out an Invisalign video. And even though pain is maybe relative, subjective, whatever the correct word is, it's still nice to hear about different people's experiences when it comes to pain so you can kind of gauge what it's going to be like. So for me, I was expecting to be in either like mid to a lot of pain getting this done because I've never had braces before. I've never had anyone try to do any sort of corrective thing on my teeth. So I get them in and they don't hurt. Now, the only time that there's ever pain or discomfort, I would rather say discomfort, because for me there was no pain. There was no sharp pains. There was no throbbing pains or anything like that. They're moving pretty slowly, right? So it's not like, your teeth are going from like a gap to this, overnight. No, it's gonna do that over time. So pain level from 1 to 10, maybe a 3, a 2 or 3, like literally nothing. But that's just for me, right? Don't think that if you consider Invisalign and you get them done that you're not going to experience any pain, because I don't know your pain level. I just know that for me, I do have a high tolerance for pain. So I know that I can handle a little bit more than maybe some other folks can. Okay, so what's it like for everyday wear of these things? First off, they're annoying. If anybody says that they're not, they're lying, because they really are. You're not supposed to have plastic on your teeth. You're not even supposed to have the metal braces on your teeth, okay? It's just not natural. So you have this foreign object in your mouth and your body's like, I don't like this. Get it out of me. Use something else. But it's honestly one of the best things that I could have ever invested in. The most annoying thing is probably the amount of times that you have to brush and floss your teeth. Now, the reason for this is, one, you want to try to keep good dental health just in general. Even if you don't have Invisalign, you should be brushing at least twice a day and flossing at least once a day. With this though, hunty, you have to brush after every meal. Take them out, eat, do your thing within, a half hour or so, and then, brush your teeth and then pop them back in. Imagine doing that like 4 times a day. My days typically look like, in the morning, I will take them out, brush my teeth at the same time that I wash my face, do my morning skincare. I have a skincare routine in case you're interested in watching. But anyways, do my skincare routine, brush and floss. That takes, brushing alone and flossing and mouthwash and all that kind of stuff takes about 5 minutes. I eat breakfast, which I don't typically eat breakfast because I kind of do intermittent fasting. So I won't normally eat until about 12:30 in the afternoon. But if I do eat something in the morning, like oatmeal or like avocado toast or something simple, I still have to take them out, eat, brush, floss, rinse, all that, and go about my day. So that's twice now, if I've had breakfast. Next is lunch, which I eat every day. So same thing, take them out, eat, brush, put them back in. That's number 3. Dinner, number 4. Right before bed, number 5. Now, if I have like a snack or something in between there, hunty, I have to do the same thing. Now, in the beginning, I used to floss after every single meal because I was like, oh, I'm going to be, this great, vigilant Invisalign girl. Let me tell you, that got old real quick. So I think maybe after 6 months, I was like, you know what? I'm just going to make sure that I floss at least once or twice a day. So brushing and flossing, extremely annoying. The bad breath. Mind you, I brush my teeth at least 4 or 5 times a day, okay? So you would think that I have sparkling, minty fresh breath. No, not all the time. Why? Especially in the morning. The morning is the worst because I've had these in for 8 hours at least straight, and all that bacteria and stuff just gathers into the aligners, and so you need to clean ASAP. So that's why, in the beginning of the day and at the end of the day, that's normally when I put in as much effort as possible in scrubbing and brushing. I told my fiance, if you know, you know. If I ever have bad breath, you need to tell me that I got bad breath. And there are ways that, they'll tell me that, I have bad breath. And then a couple times I did snacks. I was just like, how can you tell me that I have bad breath even though I told you to tell me when I have bad breath? They're an amazing human being, obviously, because I'm going to marry them. But it's just nice to know that there's a transparency there, especially when you have so much stuff going on in your mouth, for someone to say, hey, your breath is a little ripe. You might want to brush or swish out with some mouthwash. With all of that, with the brushing, the flossing, the bad breath, I go through bottles and bottles and bottles of Listerine. And Listerine ain't cheap, honey. It's like $7 here. And for the big bottle. I'm not trying to spend that much money on mouthwash, but because I'm rinsing all the time, because I'm trying to combat that bad breath and the bacteria, I have to use it a lot. So some people might want to know who did my teeth. So one thing to kind of specify about Invisalign is that Invisalign is not being done by a dentist or an orthodontist. They're not the people that are actually, taking the, doing the molds, creating the molds and the aligners for your teeth. They're the ones that are doing the scans, maybe some x-rays, the impressions, doing the IPR, which I'll explain what IPR is in a second. Maybe filing down your teeth to make sure that they fit in the aligners well. They're the ones, that put on the attachments, the buttons that I talked about earlier. they're not the actual Invisalign retailer. They're just kind of the middleman between consumer and the Invisalign company. So my dentist, she's really great because, you know, she's completely honest and open with you. If you have questions, feel free to ask. She will try to explain things as clearly as possible, what to expect, and all of that. And that goes from, you know, a cleaning to Invisalign. But that's the person that I go to pick up my aligners. So they do all their impressions, do all their scans, and whatever else that we need to do depending on where we're at in the process. And then they send it off to Invisalign. Invisalign does their thing, gives recommendations too. They also provide those little videos to kind of show the progression of your teeth with the movement, you know, so that the dentist or orthodontist can go over the plan with you. IPR. I can't remember the official name. I'll like put it down here or up here somewhere. But IPR basically, in layman's terms, is they take this little file that's maybe a quarter of an inch high, and I don't know how thin, like super, super thin, like maybe even paper thin or a teeny bit thicker than a piece of paper. But they'll use that to file in between your teeth if, you know, your teeth have worn in a way where they're a little bit more curved on this side. And so when your teeth are curved, so like my fingers are curved. So if your teeth are curved, you can see that there's some spaces. That's like, you want your teeth to be like this, not like that. So they will file this part to try to get your teeth to, you know, kind of go in like that. She's done that to me a couple of times, just literally just whipped it out, no warning or anything. And let me tell you, honey, I was just like, whoa. You all up in my space, but you really all up in my space with a teeny tiny little saw. Let's see. Someone did ask if, you know, in their own words, they basically asked, does it, will Invisalign help fix, you know, maybe some extreme crowding or snaggle teeth? And the answer is yes. And I'm going to try to link, if I'm able to find it, one of the Invisalign videos that I watched years ago. And this guy had teeth like literally up here. And now I'm not making fun of the guy or anything like that, but like, I mean, his teeth were like high. He had those snaggle teeth. And I believe his teeth were crooked and all of that. And so he got Invisalign. I don't think he had anything extra other than an attachment, because I do have some friends that have gotten Invisalign and had like things, you know, screwed into their jaw and like rubber bands and stuff. But I don't think he had to do that. He might have, but I can't remember because it's been a while since I've seen his video. But he's a person that comes to mind because he had some really high up teeth that, you know, needed some fixing, and they were able to bring that down, and his smile is beautiful. Also something that if you go to your dentist or go to your orthodontist, that's something that they will talk to you about, and they will tell you whether or not you are a candidate for Invisalign. If the case is way too extreme for, you know, plastic aligners and maybe some other things that they can attach to them to kind of make the appropriate moves, you know, they may suggest traditional braces. But, you know, I don't want you to take my word as, you know, Bible or anything like that. You know, you want to talk to your dental provider first so that, you know, they're the experts, so that they can determine whether or not Invisalign would be right for you. How long do I keep them in? Because I have been talking about how you do have to change your aligners and take them in and take them out. So it's recommended that you keep them in for 14 days at a time for at least 21 to 22 hours a day. Now that means you only have 2 hours to eat, drink, and do whatever it is that you do with your mouth, okay? The more time you have in them, the better. Have new attachments. The life of a dog parent and working from home. But keep them in for as long as possible, and you'll be good to go. I will show you an aligner, not the ones that are in my teeth, because I need to keep them in. So we're gonna get close. Okay, so now we're in super close. We real intimate, auntie. Okay. All right, so I've got the aligners that I will be switching into in 2 weeks. So here you've got uppers and lowers. Okay. And so when I mentioned the attachments, now you saw them on my teeth. And let's see if I can get my beauty guru on and be able to show you these. I don't know if you'll be able to see. It's hard because they're plastic and they're a little clear, but they're on these teeth here. I think I threw away all of my old aligners because I was going to do like a comparison. Let me tell you, Annie, they were not this straight. They were super crooked. I mean, you had teeth that were trying to come in front of the others. I'd have to say that it's been a really great experience. Let me just back it up. So overall, it's been a really great experience. It's helped with my dental hygiene. I mean, obviously because I'm brushing and flossing all the time, but it's also just helped with making those mundane, repetitive tasks more manageable and even in some cases more enjoyable. Before, I would not floss like ever. And I'm going to be completely honest. I hardly ever flossed because my teeth were so crowded. It was very difficult for me to comfortably floss. Even if I was flossing like once or twice a day, I would still bleed. I was still, having all these issues with flossing, and it was just horrible. So I just never did it. But when I started Invisalign and my teeth were, shifting and there was space being created and, I was able to get in and out and all of that, it made flossing so much easier. And sometimes you'll see me walking around the house just flip flossing. So this is my teeth now. Let's get in a little bit closer. Hopefully my lips are not too crusty because that ain't cute. And you can see that they fit pretty nicely, right? There's no gaps, really. And like I said, these are new, so I'll be having these in for a little while, but you do get kind of lispy and stuff. That does happen when you change your aligners. For some people, it might be a little. For some others, it might be a lot. For me, it wasn't that much. And these are probably the most comfortable aligners I've put on, which they should be, right? Because there's not a ton of movement that's going to be happening. So this is really just kind of how my teeth are going to be. I think that's all I have about Invisalign. I've talked about teeth so much, and I'm not a dentist, honey. But of course, if there are any questions at all, let's battle it out in the comments. I want to start engaging with people more. And let's be honest, ain't nobody watching my videos, but I think it would be interesting to see if other people have had Invisalign and see what their experience is like. If anybody's doing Invisalign now, that'd be really cool to know. We can go through it together and, exchange stories and all of that. And of course, if there's anything that I missed in this video, like I said, let's battle it out in the comments, talk about it. Let's just have a conversation, shall we? I think that's it for me. Thanks for watching.